So usually when you picture opening a retail store, there's this very distinct, almost comforting image you get in your head, right?
Oh, totally. The classic storefront.
Right. You imagine the physical storefront, the, nicely arranged window display, and sitting right there on the counter, the cash register.
Yeah, the old faithful register.
Exactly. And for decades, that register was just like an isolated island. It sat there, it went ka-ching, and it basically just held your money while keeping this really rudimentary ledger of what you sold.
Yeah, I mean, it was this heavy, completely siloed piece of hardware. It knew absolutely nothing about the rest of the world.
Let alone your own supply chain.
Right, exactly.
But today, that island has basically been completely swallowed up. I mean, the lines between your physical store and your website haven't just blurred.
They're gone.
Yeah, they've basically been erased. So, welcome to today's deep dive. We are jumping into the modern realities of Shopify for retail to look at how this shift is actually architected.
And it's a huge shift.
It really is. So whether you're planning like a weekend pop-up or you're scaling this massive multi-location empire or, if you're just fascinated by the invisible data layers running modern commerce.
Which is fascinating, by the way.
Right. This is your shortcut to understanding the current retail ecosystem because we've got a comprehensive guide to pull from today.
And it's such a crucial ecosystem to understand for you out there because despite the undeniable boom in e-commerce, physical retail is actually still king.
Yeah, the numbers are wild.
They are. I mean, U.S. retail sales are forecast to hit a staggering $5.6 trillion in 2026.
Trillion with a T.
With a T.
Sure.
And Shopify, which, most people strictly associate with online shopping carts.
Right, just website.
Yeah, they're seeing their offline revenues surge by 33% year over year. So the bulk of capital is still changing hands in physical spaces.
But the mechanisms of those transactions have fundamentally transformed, which brings us to the core thesis of the intelligence we've gathered today.
Right.
Success in modern retail is just no longer about taking a traditional point-of-sale terminal and, using some clunky third-party software to stitch it to a separate website.
No, not at all.
The strategy has shifted entirely to building one shared architecture. So it's one product catalog, one inventory pool, and one customer list.
Feeding every channel simultaneously, yeah.
Exactly.
You aren't operating two parallel businesses that, occasionally sync up anymore. You're operating a single organism where the data flows bi-directionally in real time.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the way retail used to work.
And how a lot of legacy brands still work, honestly.
Yeah, true. It feels like duct tape retail. Think of it like two different people trying to juggle the exact same set of balls while standing back to back.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. Like the website has no idea what the till is doing.
Yeah.
The register doesn't know the website just sold the very last blue sweater in a size medium.
Which creates a massive race condition.
Exactly. If someone in your physical store picks up that sweater and walks to the register at the exact same moment an online shopper clicks checkout, somebody is going home really angry.
And that race condition is basically the death of customer trust. I mean, fixing it historically required an immense amount of engineering.
Yeah, but now it's just baked in. Shopify's unified approach acts like a single brain controlling both hands.
Right. There's this really illuminating quote in our sources from Corey Hasenut, the director of marketing at Pepper Palace.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he noted that moving to a unified architecture decreased the technical resources they spent on maintenance, and it eliminated their need for middleware by up to 60%.
60%, that's huge. And for those listening, middleware is essentially that finicky translation software.
Yeah, the stuff that sits in the middle.
Right, it sits between the physical point of sale and the online store, and it's constantly polling both databases, just trying to keep them synced.
But there's always latency. There's always a delay.
Always. But by eliminating that middleware, the cash register is now just another window looking into the exact same database as the website.
Which, I mean, cutting out 60% of your software maintenance overhead, that sounds like a total dream for any operations manager.
Absolutely. But before we get deeper into the logistics of how this works, we do need to do a quick piece of housekeeping for you, the listener.
Good call.
Yeah. If you are researching this right now and you see something called the retail plan online, ignore it.
Completely ignore it.
The legacy retail plan is dead. It is closed to new merchants. If you are on it and you leave it, you cannot go back.
Right. The entire pricing structure has been overhauled into a modular stack.
So you now need a core Shopify plan, and
Yeah.
then you layer a POS tier on top of it.
Because businesses need customization now, right? They don't need bloated bundles. You build your stack based on what your physical locations actually execute on the floor.
Makes sense.
So part one of that equation is the core plan.
Yeah.
This dictates your base monthly fee, your staff limits, and most importantly, your in-person card processing rate.
Right, and it scales as you grow.
Exactly. So the entry-level basic plan is $39 a month, and it has the highest processing rate at 2.6% plus 10 cents.
Gotcha.
But as you upgrade to the Grow plan at $105 and eventually the Advanced plan at $399, your base monthly subscription increases, obviously.
Right, the flat fee goes up.
But your per-transaction processing rate drops. Advanced gets you down to 2.4% plus 10 cents.
And for those of you running the numbers, there's a really vital strategic detail here. Paying annually drops those base monthly subscription costs by 25%.
Yes.
So you can lower your overhead significantly right out the gate. Though I should clarify, the card processing percentages remain fixed to whatever tier you choose.
Right, the percentages don't change. Now, part two of the equation is the POS tier itself. Every single core plan includes POS Lite for free.
Which is great.
It is. It's designed for the casual, occasional in-person sale, like if you're just doing a local weekend farmer's market.
Right.
But the real engine, like the software that runs a permanent dedicated retail store, is POS Pro. And that is an entirely separate add-on that costs $89 per location per month.
Okay, let me challenge that for a second.
Sure.
Because if I'm running a small boutique on the basic plan, my core software might only cost around $39 a month.
Right.
But if I want these pro features, I am suddenly adding $89 per location. That effectively triples my monthly software overhead before I've even turned the lights on.
It does.
So why wouldn't a retailer just stay on the free Lite tier forever? When do you actually pull the trigger on Pro?
Well, you stay on Lite until the exact moment your operational bottlenecks cost you more than $89 a month.
Ah.
The strategy outlined in the source material is very deliberate here.
Yeah.
Start simple. You only flip the switch to POS Pro when a specific shop floor workflow actually demands it.
Like what? What's an example?
For instance, the moment you hire multiple employees and you need individual staff peons to track cash drawer discrepancies.
Oh, that makes sense.
Or the moment your return volume increases and you really need to enforce strict system automated exchange rules. You aren't pre-buying features you might need. You upgrade to dissolve friction that is actively slowing down your checkout lane right now.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. You deploy the capital only when the operational pain justifies it.
Exactly.
And since POS Pro is managed per location in the admin panel, you don't even have to blanket your whole business with it. Like, your busy flagship store gets Pro to handle complex exchanges.
Yeah, and your sleepy secondary location just stays on the free Lite tier.
Precisely. It's a highly targeted deployment of software.
It really is.
But, software needs hardware to actually interact with the physical world. We've got this shared architecture running in the cloud, but what gear do you actually put on the counter to capture these transactions?
Well, the hardware philosophy has really mirrored the software philosophy here. Modularity and consumer tech integration. It's designed to scale from this super minimalist aesthetic all the way up to a high-volume traditional checkout counter.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because when you think of retail systems, you usually imagine a vendor locking you into a proprietary, heavy terminal that costs like thousands of dollars up front.
Right, the classic bulky register.
Yeah. But your starting hardware budget on this system can literally be $0.
Literally zero. Using Tap to Pay on a supported iPhone or Android device, the smartphone itself acts as the NFC card reader.
It's crazy.
There are no dongles to plug into the charging port, no extra hardware leasing fees, and it just processes at your standard plan rate.
So a merchant can start moving physical inventory with just the smartphone they already own in their pocket.
Exactly. It completely democratizes physical retail.
Now, obviously, if you have a line out the door, handing the customer your personal phone over and over isn't exactly sustainable.
No, probably not the best look.
Right. So if a merchant needs to scale up, the next tier is still incredibly lean. It's just a $49 tap-and-chip card reader.
Yeah, super affordable.
And that covers you for customers who need to physically insert a card, or, if you're in a region where smartphone tap-to-pay hasn't rolled out yet.
Right.
But what if you want the full traditional setup, like the automatic cash drawer, the receipt printer, the barcode scanner?
So a fully professional counter setup tops out around $986.
Okay, under $1,000.
Yeah. That includes the Wi-Fi POS terminal with a dedicated customer-facing screen for $349, a
Nice.
receipt printer for $289, an automatic cash drawer for $139, and a USB barcode scanner for $209.
And that scanner becomes non-negotiable pretty fast once your inventory scales.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The guide explicitly notes that once you surpass roughly 200 different SKUs, attempting to use an iPad or phone camera to scan barcodes creates a massive bottleneck.
You just need dedicated laser scanning hardware to keep the queue moving.
For sure. But still, $1,000 for a high-volume lane is a fraction of the cost of legacy enterprise systems.
Definitely. And there's also a financial offset hidden in that POS Pro upgrade we talked about earlier.
Yes, there is. When you pay that $89 monthly fee for a location to have POS Pro, it automatically extends the hardware warranty for all gear purchased from Shopify from 1 year to 2 years.
Oh, wow. That's a nice perk.
It's huge.
Yeah,
Because hardware in a high-traffic retail environment takes a brutal beating.
totally.
So having that automatic replacement coverage effectively subsidizes some of the cost of the software upgrade.
Now, while we are looking at the mechanics of taking payments, there is a massive warning in the source material we have to highlight for you. Do not let your staff get into the habit of manually keying in credit card numbers on the register.
It is an absolute margin killer. If a card's magnetic stripe or chip fails, and you manually dump those 16 digits into the system, your processing rate instantly jumps to a punishing 3.5% plus 10 cents.
Regardless of what core plan you're on.
Regardless. The payment networks view manually keyed transactions as a massive fraud risk because the physical card isn't actively communicating with the reader, so they penalize you with these astronomical rates.
Wow.
It's acceptable for, like, a rare emergency, but as an operational habit, it will completely drain your profits.
Okay, so your hardware's installed, you are avoiding keyed entries, and your shared inventory brain is functioning perfectly. Why do we care so much about capturing all this data perfectly at the physical till?
Well, it all comes down to the customer standing on the other side of that counter and unlocking a very specific type of buyer behavior.
Right. You capture this data because it reveals the most lucrative demographic in modern retail.
Yeah, the omnichannel shopper.
Exactly. There was a grocery sector study by Incisive, FMI, and Winshop, and it revealed this staggering metric. Omnichannel buyers, so consumers who engage with your brand both online and inside your physical stores, they spend an average of $1,043 a month. That is approximately 1.5 times more than a customer who is strictly confined to a single channel.
That's incredible. The hybrid shopper expects fluidity, and they reward it with massive volume.
And POS Pro is the key to unlocking the workflows that those high-value shoppers expect. I mean, the baseline expectation now is buy online, pick up in store, or BOPIS.
Yeah, BOPI is everywhere now.
Right. The customer checks out on their couch, routes the order to their nearest physical shop, and the retail staff receives an immediate ping to bag the inventory and stage it for pickup.
And for stores that need to strictly manage foot traffic, they often integrate an app called Zapiet to force the customer to select a specific 30-minute collection window.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. But holding a bag behind the counter is just the beginning of omnichannel fulfillment. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the true operational leap is a feature called Ship from Store.
Okay, break that down for us.
So, you can configure a local delivery radius up to 160 kilometers, or roughly 100 miles around any physical retail location.
Okay.
When an online order comes in from a zip code within that radius, the system doesn't route it to your central warehouse across the country. It routes it to the local store.
Wow.
Your retail staff prints the shipping label right at the register and dispatches the inventory directly from the shop floor.
That is wild. By doing that, your standard downtown storefront has effectively transformed into a highly localized micro warehouse.
Exactly.
You're dramatically cutting down transit times and clearing out aging floor stock faster because you're expanding your physical store's reach 100 miles in every direction.
It fundamentally changes unit economics. Alexandra McNabb, she's the COO at Baird Footwear, she actually highlighted this in the sources.
Yeah, I remember reading her quote.
She explained that a unified commerce platform makes this holistic operational model possible without forcing the team to invent clunky workarounds.
Because clunky workarounds always break when put under pressure.
Always.
And there is no greater pressure in retail than handling returns.
Oh, returns are a nightmare.
Historically, cross-channel returns were an accounting nightmare. If someone bought a jacket online and tried to return it in-store, the old siloed cash register couldn't verify the online order number.
Yep.
It couldn't put the money back on the card, and it couldn't sync the restocked jacket back to the website.
This is just a mess.
But the new architecture solves this natively. With POS Pro, a customer can buy on the Shop app, walk into your physical location, and use a self-serve kiosk to return it.
Natively.
Natively, the inventory instantly updates across the entire company, and the funds are routed flawlessly. Or, they buy a physical plastic gift card from your cashier and immediately apply that code to an online checkout. It's one shared ledger.
Which introduces the really intense operational realities of running a micro warehouse. I mean, when you have online orders routing to the store, in-person pickups happening simultaneously, and cross-channel returns updating the ledger every few minutes.
Your inventory accuracy has to be flawless.
It has to be. And the human staff executing these tasks has to be tightly coordinated.
Speaking of inventory management, we really need to flag a major ticking clock from the source material for you here.
Yes, very important.
If you are already operating within this ecosystem and you use the Stocky app, you have an urgent deadline. The Stocky Inventory app is officially retiring on August 31st, 2026.
It is a critical transition period. Countless businesses rely on Stocky for demand forecasting, generating purchase orders, and managing stock takes.
You cannot afford to lose those capabilities.
No, you must begin migrating those workflows to Shopify's native admin inventory features immediately. Like long before the holiday peak seasons, stress test your operations.
Definitely. So the inventory tracking is handled. But how does the system manage the human element? How do you give your floor staff the tools to run this micro warehouse without accidentally giving them the keys to your entire corporate backend?
Right. That is managed through granular permissions in POS Pro. You can establish custom staff roles. The system defaults to an associate role, but you can gate specific actions.
Oh.
You can mandate that a unique staff peon is entered for every transaction, ensuring a flawless audit trail of exactly who applied a 20% discount or authorized a cash refund.
Nice.
Crucially, the Pro tier gives you unlimited POS-only staff accounts.
Which is an incredible tool for seasonal scaling. You can hire 20 temporary workers for the holiday rush, give them full access to ring up customers and manage local pickups on the iPads, but they're completely locked out of your online admin panel, your customer export lists, and your macro business metrics.
The software basically acts as an operational firewall. But the staff also needs tools to elevate the customer experience, right? Because the architecture is unified. The customer profile bridges the physical and digital divide natively.
Right, the data is all there.
So when an online buyer walks into the store and provides their email at checkout, the cashier instantly sees their entire cross-channel purchase history, average order value, and previous return rates.
Manish Sood, the founder of Reltio, drives this point home in the source text. He points out that modern consumers are fundamentally less loyal to legacy brands and far more apt to choose companies that can deliver a highly customized, real-time experience right at the point of engagement.
Exactly.
If you know what they bought online last month, you can upsell them the matching accessory in store today.
It's powerful.
It is. But that brings us to a noticeable gap in the native software. While the system tracks the customer perfectly, it doesn't natively reward them. There is no built-in points or loyalty tier system.
No, there isn't. For a true loyalty program, the classic earn points per dollar or VIP tiering, you have to leverage the third-party app ecosystem.
What are the go-tos?
The source highlights several key integrations. Smile.io is heavily utilized for rapid deployment of points and referral structures.
Okay.
Marcello is excellent for bridging loyalty directly into automated SMS and email marketing campaigns. Loyalty Lion offers really deep enterprise-level customization.
Nice.
And for high-end retail, apps like Endear provide AI-powered clienteling, analyzing that unified customer data so your floor staff can do highly personalized one-to-one outreach.
Now, it's important to acknowledge that reliance on third-party apps because we have been painting a very idealized picture of this unified architecture so far.
That's fair.
Let's look at where the guardrails are. What happens when reality intervenes? Say a construction crew down the street accidentally cuts your physical store's fiber internet line. What actually happens to this cloud-based brain?
This raises an important question about the inherent vulnerabilities of cloud architecture. Because Shopify POS relies on real-time server communication, a dropped connection instantly amputates your advanced workflows. You can still accept physical cash and manual custom payments will process, but the ecosystem features stop dead. You cannot process cross-channel returns, you cannot verify or sell gift cards, and you cannot validate discount codes because the terminal just cannot query the central database.
Wow. Okay, but what about the absolute baseline of retail? Swiping a credit card, does that fail too?
Well, you can continue to take offline card payments, but there are massive structural caveats. First, it requires dedicated physical hardware, like the Wi-Fi POS terminal or the tap-and-chip reader.
So you cannot use the smartphone tap to pay feature in offline mode.
No, you can't. And second, and more dangerously, these transactions are essentially just being queued locally on the device. They're not routed to the payment processor until your internet connection is restored.
So a customer could hand you a card with insufficient funds, the offline terminal accepts it, they walk out of the store with a $500 jacket, and you don't find out the card declined until the internet comes back online 6 hours later.
Precisely. The merchant absorbs 100% of that risk. The system also mandates that you reconnect to the internet within 24 hours to clear that queue, or those authorizations expire entirely.
That's terrifying.
And as a fascinating regulatory quirk, offline card payments are completely disabled for merchants operating in France.
Wait, really? France is locked out?
Yeah. Local compliance laws regarding real-time tax ledgers and transaction reporting strictly prohibit cashing payments offline.
That is such a specific, crucial limitation for European merchants to understand. Let's talk about another hurdle, getting onto this platform in the first place. If a massive retailer is listening to this and wants to abandon their siloed Square, Lightspeed, or Clover setup, what does that migration actually look like?
Well, I'll be honest, it is rarely a frictionless transition. Yeah. Basic customer lists and simple text data map over cleanly. The pain points arrive when you're trying to force one complex data architecture into another. For example, if you're migrating from Square, Square maps product variations, like a shirt with multiple sizes, colors, and fits, differently than Shopify's database architecture.
So the importer just trips over the translation and drops the data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Products with more than 3 option categories generally will not transfer correctly. Location-specific inventory counts are routinely stripped out during the move, as are historical product reviews.
That's rough.
And the guide explicitly warns merchants not to rely on the old store importer app, as it has been completely delisted due to these exact complexities.
So if your legacy catalog is a tangled mess of complex matrices, you will basically have to pay a professional data migration service to manually map your databases.
Yeah, you will.
And the sources note this can cost anywhere from $500 for a lean catalog up to $7,500 or more for complex, high-volume enterprise transitions.
It's not cheap. And enterprise users have to watch out for structural limits, too. Basic, Grow, and Advanced plans hard cap your physical footprint at 10 locations.
Wait, 10?
Yeah. If you want to open store number 11, you are forced into the Enterprise Plus plan, which caps out at 200 locations. You also have to factor in human resource management.
How so?
There is no native staff time clock built into the register interface. If you want your floor staff punching in and out for their shifts on the exact same iPad they use to ring up customers, you will have to integrate a third-party app like EasyTeam.
Okay, so what does this all mean? We've traced the data flow from a $5.6 trillion macroeconomy down to the exact reasons why a product variant fails to migrate from a legacy system.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. And if we synthesize everything we've extracted from these sources today, the critical takeaway for you is that modern retail software isn't an integration anymore. You aren't plugging a dumb cash register into a smart website. The physical till is the system.
Operationally, your mandate is to scale based on friction. Utilize the free Lite tier in consumer smartphones to validate your physical presence. You only incur the cost of dedicated hardware and pro software when complex workflows like automated returns or multi-location inventory routing actually demand it. Unified commerce is no longer a buzzword. It is the structural baseline required to capture the modern, high-spending shopper.
Absolutely. And I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over, building on the mechanics we've explored today.
Yeah.
We analyzed how activating Ship from Store effectively turns a local shop into a micro warehouse with a 100-mile delivery radius.
Yeah.
If this logistical efficiency continues to scale and local inventory routing becomes instantaneous, how long until the traditional physical storefront as we know it disappears entirely?
Oh, wow.
Could we be accelerating toward a landscape where retail footprint transforms entirely into massive, hyper-localized fulfillment nodes featuring nothing but a tiny experiential showroom attached to the front.
That is a wild thought.
Something to think about the next time you tap your phone at a checkout counter.